Yo and hello everybody, Mike here, baseball collector. Happy Monday. Had a good weekend at the ranch, hanging out, relaxing, doing some work, which is always fun. You feel good when you work. You get a little bit accomplished. And today I've got a few things to talk about because as you work, I think through things and I have ideas and I want to talk through things. So I have a couple cool things to show for sure. Gonna do that. But that I got in the mail. But a couple things I was thinking about. Number one, been thinking a lot about. We had some house guests last week, and the husband was here. They were staying with us, and he was in here looking at things. And a sports fan, I would say, but certainly not a hobbyist or collector or anything like that. And he looked around and he said, "What's the end game here?" And that's a question that has come up to me over the years by numbers of people, family members, friends, especially friends outside the hobby, and even people inside the hobby think, what is the ultimate goal? And that's so hard for a hobbyist, a collector like me to truly answer, because the answer is, I don't know that there is an end. Do you stop collecting? Does it ever just go no more collecting? And I don't think it's a switch you can just turn off. Very, very difficult. I mean, I think if I got to a point that I just find something else, there's always something more to collect. But as I kind of chewed on that idea for a little bit, I said, well, I've got all these different projects, literally a dozen or so different projects that I'm working on here and there, and I buy something for this one, and I go and I buy something for that one. Probably like a lot of us do, because you always kind of switch it up. I like to switch it up. I get tired of looking for the same thing all the time. So whether it's autographs or graded cards or whatever, always looking for something different. And I know by having lots of projects, having lots of things I'm looking for, I might miss, I stop working on a project and then the next day something comes up that I would have certainly bought, that because I'm looking for the next project, working on that, then I miss out on that. And that's just part of it. I always think there's always another one. At a show, if the price is too high, there's always another one. If you're looking online and you miss out on an auction, there's always another one. And that's kept me going, because the marathon, not a sprint idea also reigns true for me. I don't have to have it all today. In fact, what would be the fun of that if it all just dropped in your lap? The joy of the hunt, the joy of the search, the joy of finding a good deal, all of that plays into acquiring different items. So important. And so much of the joy comes from that. And owning it, there's certainly joy with that, and having it for sure. And finally achieving that goal, if it was a goal. And so with all these projects that I have, I finally decided, after sitting around working this weekend, I was out staining a deck and just thoughts as music was playing and staining the deck, and I thought, I'm going to consolidate all of it to one master list. Because when I went to the National, for example, I had, literally, it's right here actually, hold on. I have an entire notebook of just list after list of different things that I wanted to buy from my spreadsheet. And that's cumbersome. And I didn't really know where the finish line was for those projects. I didn't know. I did individually, but not collectively, not in aggregate. And so I wanted to put it all together on one master spreadsheet, and I did that. And it took me like 5 or 6 hours to do it, but it was a labor of love. I was enjoying the process of putting all these different things on the spreadsheet from the different projects. So much fun for me, actually, which sounds weird, but I'm a dork, so I enjoy that kind of stuff. So I ended up getting everything on there. Like if I said, all right, if I could have all of these things, would I be done? The answer, of course, is really no, but I would feel incredibly accomplished if I got everything on this list. That's cards for the 300 great cards and the 4 decade set and all the Dick Perez signed items and da 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 da. and it came out to 932 items. One of these items I'd already taken off that I got today. The other one I took off today, so technically I guess 931 now, which really doesn't feel like a lot. I mean, it is a lot of things, but it's really not unachievable. You say that until you think, if I was to add up how much all of this would cost, I mean, let's be real, even if you take out some of the really big cards, which one of them on there is the T206 Honus Wagner. I'm never going to own that. It's on the list, though. Why shouldn't it be on the list? It's a card for the 300 Great Cards, for example. It's a card that's iconic in the hobby. I would love to own one. Even a literally cut in half one I would take. As long as it's slabbed by PSA to go in the registry. But again, that's a whole nother topic. So all these cards are on there, all the big ones. Everything's on there. 931 items now. And there's a lot of cheap stuff on, a lot of $10 stuff too. Runs the full gambit, full spectrum of price. But if you add it all up, let's say you take the Wagner out of it, it's still hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Literally, I actually am going to go back and kind of think, all right, I'm going to price it as of a certain day and then kind of change that over time and kind of keep these lines in the sand of what the cost of completion would look like. Mainly because it allows me to budget, allows me to think what's next. It can help me plan how these things might happen. And a lot of us have to do that with our collections. We have to think about what's next because of budgets, because of just, I've bought cards where I just didn't even think I was going to buy that card, but I came across it. It was a good price, etc., etc. It's on my list. You buy it. Those things will happen. But in general, it's okay to plan and think, what would I like to get next? For me, the 54 Bowman Ted Williams is just kind of that next big card that I'd really like to get. Dallas show's coming up in about a month, so that's on my radar. But planning is good. I'm really kind of jumping all over the place. I hope that's okay. Hopefully you're following along with my train of thought in the way I don't know if anybody else thinks this way, but I just kind of skip around. But hopefully getting back to the core message, which is creating this list has really empowered me. It's made me think, okay, there is a finish line. There is a point where I would have all of these major kind of lifetime projects complete. It's going to take me a very long time to do this, outside of winning the lottery, to be able to make this happen financially. It's interesting. Pretty much everything on the list I could go find right now. It's on eBay or in an auction house. I could probably buy all of it if I had literally just buckets of money and cost was no object. I could buy everything within a couple of weeks, probably at most a couple of months. I could actually acquire every item on my list, even in the grade that I would like it in, that I would consider reasonable. But what would the fun be in that, right? If you finished it all so quickly. Actually, if I had all the money, I would do it. So let's be clear, I would certainly do it. But going through that process, if you've never gone through that process of thinking, what does a complete collection look like for me? And the answer can be there isn't such a thing. It was very good for me, therapeutic for me, so to speak, to go, okay, if I got these 931 things, and to me that's just not daunting when you're talking about a project like the 4 Decades set is a 3,000 item project. And this includes everything, and I'm only down to 900 and something. So anyway, very cool. Happy to do that. The second thing I thought about and was thinking about was kind of self-questioning my sports fandom. And what I mean by that is the idea, am I really a sports fan? The answer, of course, is yes. I'm a lifelong sports fan, but I will tell you some things that I do that might have you question that idea, that might have you go, well, Mike, you're really not a fan if this is all true. And where it comes down to is, let's take football. I'm a huge TCU fan, which they lost to SMU Saturday. Don't get me started. I did not watch a single play of that game. In fact, even if I was home, I was at the ranch working, but if I was home, I wouldn't have watched the game live. DVR has completely changed the way that I consume sports on a number of levels. Number one, I watch nothing live. Tonight, the Cowboys are playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Monday Night Football. By the time some of you watch this, they'll probably have already lost or whatever. Hopefully they're going to win, but I'm not going to watch the game live. What I will do, the game starts here local at about 7:15. I will watch YouTube videos and whatnot, and I will not watch the game until probably around 9 o'clock. I will go and start watching the game. And what that allows me to do with DVR is fast forward through all the commercials, and by the time I catch up to the game, it'll be in the fourth quarter, and I might watch the last 5 or 6 minutes game time, which will last 20 to 30 minutes of real time, depending on the score and all that kind of stuff, live. And the way I look at it is that I'm not wasting all that time sitting there. And it also helps in this regard too. If the Cowboys lose, for example, I don't feel this way about any other sport except the Cowboys. For some reason, the emotional drain on me is tremendous. If they lose, I feel horrible. It bothers me for several days. And maybe that does make me a fan. Certainly impassioned. Maybe a little crazy and stupid, but that's just the truth of it. And what I do is, by doing it the way I do it and fast forwarding through all the things and getting to the end, is I don't get emotionally invested in a bad way. If they win, great. I'm not even sad that I didn't watch the game live. But I am sad if I watch the game live and they lose, because I feel like, God, I just committed 3 hours of my life. I could have been doing all this other stuff, fast forwarding through the commercials. I do it with Ranger games. I record every Rangers game. If they lost, I don't even watch it, because what's also interesting is on my phone I have alerts for Mavericks, Cowboys, Rangers, TCU football, Oklahoma football, some other things that I want to follow. And so if there's a game on, it's constantly updating me on the score. So during the Cowboys game tonight, for example, I'm going to turn my phone, get it away. I don't even want to hear it going ding, ding, ding if there's an alert of a score or anything like that, because I don't want to know what's going on. And so I'll just move my phone out of the room so it's not dinging me and pinging me, and so I know what's going on. And then I'll go watch it. But Rangers, I know the score of every Rangers game because it's pinging me on my phone. I'm like, oh, they lost again. Or, oh, they finally won. And then I'll go look at the box score, see who did what. And if I need to, I go watch highlights. So the question is, does that make me a fan or not? Does that make me less of a fan? Maybe because I don't do that. I don't sit and watch an entire game. I don't sit and watch live. The truth is, I find the parts that aren't the game very boring. All the commercials, and NFL is the worst, right? With commercials at literally every possible opportunity that they can be played. And that just bores me to death. So I'd rather use my time more efficiently. Does that make me a bad fan? I don't know. I would love to hear comments down below what you think. I'd love to hear, especially if you do the same thing. That would actually make me feel good. But if I'm completely in the wrong here, I want to know that too. I would love to hear what you have to say. So I've just been kind of churning through that thought process too. I love to see all my teams that I follow win all the time. Unfortunately, that's not happened a whole lot here in the Metroplex in recent history. We haven't had a whole lot of winning. Certainly no championships or anything like that. Teams are okay. Like the Mavericks, I love watching Luka, and the Cowboys have the potential to be good this year. Time will tell. They always seem to self-implode at different inopportune times. So that's kind of I just, again, wanted to talk about all this stuff. I've been thinking about it. I probably could have broken this down into 2 or 3 or 4 videos, but what's the fun in that? I'll do another video about something else that I'm thinking about later this week or whatever. Let's get to the stuff that I actually got in the mail to show you some actual cards, since this is a sports card channel. But hey, thanks for going along with me on the ride through my brain. I'll be right back with some stuff. All right. all right. Little mail. Literally just a couple of things. Nothing huge. First one is a 3-decade acquirement. That's not a word. I acquired an item for my 4 decade. I called it 3 decades. 4 decade. 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Every Topps Hall of Famer and Bowman Hall of Famer. 1985 Topps Steve Carlton. Near mint 8. Cheap card. Probably should have been cheaper, honestly, but I needed this last one to complete my Steve Carlton basic Topps run, and so that's what I did. I bought it. That'll obviously mean a player showcase coming up soon on this channel, so be looking for that over the next couple of weeks. Try to get that up because I really love doing the player runs. They don't get tons of views, but I don't do them for that. I do them because I love them, and there are a select people that really like seeing all the cards laid out, and I love putting a player's history in cardboard laid out. There's nothing like it for me, honestly. I just really love it. So this finishes my lefty run, Steve Carlton. And then, I thought about, I may end up titling this video Umpires Are People Too, and it's because I got this card today in the mail. This is a card I've been looking for a long, long time. 55 Bowman, Al Barlick, Hall of Fame umpire for the major leagues. The 55 Bowman set has quite a few umpire cards in it, several of which are Hall of Famers. This is kind of like his rookie card. This is their only cards, and I don't know. I love it. They're certainly Hall of Famers. I really, really, really have grown to love this 55 Bowman set. I was talking with Alex Bowman 53 during our chat that we did last week for Golden Age of Cardboard, and we both talked about the 55 Bowman set as a set that has kind of grown on us in terms of our respect and love for it, and that is certainly true with me. I really like these cards. I can't wait to finish this run. I only think I need 4 cards left to have all the Hall of Famers, and I have all the big ones. I have Mays, Mantle, Aaron, so they're just some quote-unquote smaller guys, less expensive guys is probably the better way to put it, but just still looking for deals. Can't buy it all at once, but I love this Al Barlick. I love the old school hat that he's wearing, kind of the uniform for umpires back in the 50s. So there's that as I drop it. And then the last thing I got, one more thing, is I got another TTM back. Man, I'm telling you, I am batting 1,000 on these things. I've literally gotten every one of them back that I have sent out. This is Pat Gillick, and I'm kind of mad at myself. I didn't put on the letter that I wrote him, hey, I'd prefer blue Sharpie. He did it in silver Sharpie, it looks like. I don't think that's a paint pen. I think it's just a silver Sharpie. And maybe he did that because of his blue coat that he's wearing. He might have thought that would look better. I'm just such a blue Sharpie snob. I really want it in blue Sharpie, even if, he could have signed it, kind of up here, I guess above his head, or I don't know, somewhere in blue Sharpie to make it stand out. Look, I'm thrilled to death. Don't get me wrong. Don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth that I got it back. And he doesn't charge a fee. Pat Gillick doesn't. So I didn't send any money, and I got it back, and it's inscribed Hall of Fame. So this will go onto the stack. I think I have 8 of these now that I've gotten back, and got a bunch more that I'm going to be doing. So really excited about continuing this project and keeping these going. I can't wait to send them all to Garrett to get slabbed up and go with their buddies that are the real, Perez Steel Hall of Fame postcards. But these are the next best thing, and JT did a great job on this one, as he has on all of them, so thanks to him. And that's kind of it for today. So, man, if you made it this far in this video, I'm really proud of you, and I really appreciate it, because a lot of ramblings. Thanks everybody so much for watching. We will talk to you soon. Keep collecting.